It's strange to think that this old gun here, whaling harpoon gun, was invented towards the end of the 1800s by Sven Foyn, and we were taught in school this was a great Norwegian invention. This was revolutionized whaling. It built up an economy, and we were very proud of it. It evoked emotions. Probably still does. Yeah.
Yes, among the propaganda from Norwegian authorities, we always find the word emotions. They say the rest of the world have feelings about the whaling. That's why they want to stop it. But some people have emotions for living animals, and some people have emotions for corpses and dead animals.
Wrapped in plastic.
Yes. And among the other things coming as propaganda from the Norwegian authorities is that we need to kill these whales of ecological reasons. If we don't kill them, they eat up the fish. Now we know that the seabirds in the Barents Sea eat about half of what the whales eat. So why don't we go out and kill hundreds and thousands of seabirds? But then it's emotional things coming in. Norwegian people wouldn't like us going out and killing all the auks and gulls along the Norwegian coast. But of course, we have to do it for ecological reasons if we are following the Prime Minister.
Well, speaking of the Prime Minister, I think, Bob, you should go and see her.
Don't you think she'll just give me the official government policy?
Of course, but she'll do it well. And she's a real Captain Ahab, so be sharp.
I'm ready. We just came back from northern Norway to a whaling ship, and I met these people, and they were wonderful people, hard-working people, and I had an American opinion about whaling. Now I'm not so sure. I was wondering what the Norway's position is.
Well, you know, the kind of whaling that we allow, and in fact do now for scientific reasons, is a traditional whale type called the minke whale, which is one of the 70 different whale types that we have in the world. And those have more than 80,000 in the stock in this part of the oceans, in the North Atlantic. In the Antarctica, there is 1 million more of this type of whale. Now, if that whale had been threatened, that type, we would never have taken, even for scientific purposes. But for Norwegian resource management, it is necessary to know about the relationship in the ocean between whales, different types of fish, and what all of these are eating on, which is the biological material in the ocean. To be able to take fish for human consumption, we need to have a balance in the ocean, and we should never undermine any whale type. But this type of whale that we are hunting on is not threatened, and we have for 5 years having a complete moratorium on those whales in order to be certain about the scientific basis for the biology and the number of whales which are there.
And we've heard different opinions on from the experts about the number. They say the whales are, even the minke, are being depleted.
Well, they don't say that in the Whaling Commission Scientific Committee. There is a unanimous view on the evaluation of the stock, that it is around 80,000 species, and that there is 1 million in the Antarctic.
Now, what about world opinion, though? I mean, even if world opinion doesn't listen to your side of the story, and they decide.
Well, that is a problem, because when we are participating in an international body like the Whaling Commission, the basis for the decisions that have to be taken there on what is a sustainable use of any whale resource has to be scientific. It cannot be that you make a complete new definition, that all of a sudden whales are looked upon as if they were human beings. Because then there would be no basis for international cooperation on the resource management of the ocean. It has to be done scientifically and biologically for sustainable development. What kind of catch is responsible to use the resources of the sea, but not undermining them?
Well, that's it, Bob. Let's follow the ancient Viking wake to Vinland and to Mangas Colarados land, the last remaining superpower on this globe. Your new Vice President, Al Gore, has given the new administration its environmental profile. He knows our Prime Minister, whom you have met, maybe has a thing or two to say to her.
I'll have to ask you one little question about Norwegian whaling. What do you think of it?
I'm trying to put off a detailed statement on whaling until I've had a chance to talk with her, and until the new administration of which I'm a part has had a chance to study the new controversy in some detail. There will be a meeting of the International Whaling Commission in the spring, and out of respect for Prime Minister Brundtland, I want to have a full chance to understand her point of view. You can guess where my sentiments lie, but I have such respect for her. I'd like to hear her out before I make some public statement about it.
Some people, and some of them are rather influential, said to me, "Don't stay away from Indians, stay away from Native Americans, because they'll just bring this Mother Earth thing up again." And besides, they are a hot political potato. Now, so I'm going to ask you, Mr. Gore, is my friend Bob here in Apache, is he a hot political potato?
It looks hot to me.
I can get hot.
Well, you know, there is a new appreciation in my country for the richness of diversity that can be gained from a deeper dialogue with the Native American traditions. And you will find a growing sense in the United States of how much Americans have to gain by learning more about these varied traditions. And
Yes, I've been traveling around a little bit together with Bob on some of these reservations. And one of the major issues, which I suppose is the hot political potato, is the MRS, the monitored removable storage of nuclear waste.
I've been talking to different business acquaintances of mine, and I'm really appalled at their attitude. They say things like, we have to get rid of it somewhere. Why not Indian land? Who cares? I mean, let science solve this problem in the future. It's been studied thoroughly by the government. We accept that. Let's just dump it there. What do you think about, the concept of environmental racism?
I have been the principal sponsor of a bill called the Environmental Justice Act in the House of Representatives. The other half of our legislative branch, John Lewis of Atlanta, has been the principal sponsor there. And as a result, I've learned a good deal about the problem, and it's no great mystery. Those who have relatively less political power and economic power have always been more vulnerable to having waste sites of all kinds in their midst. Trash dumps around the world are much more likely to go in areas where poor people live or where minority populations are found. And the nuclear waste controversy is a more exotic form of the same basic problem. You can look at it in another way. In Eastern Europe, you found that the deprivation of political and economic power on the part of people there led to environmental abuses that are among the worst in the entire world. It's the same basic phenomenon. Where there is powerlessness, the people who live in a particular area are less able to assert their own preferences to be free of this environmental abuse. Political and economic freedom are prerequisites for a sound approach to protecting the environment. That's why I've always believed that around the world, the promotion of freedom